So, in case you're wondering why the background looks a whole lot different, it's because, well, I'm in my living room right now. It is 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, June 1st, and yeah, we just got information about the ROG Ally X. All the information's out just because this whole Computex stream. So, let's go ahead and talk about it on the latest episode of DeckedUP, the Gaming and Tech Podcast. What's up, everybody? Mekel Kasanova here for DeckedUP, a Gaming Tech Podcast, and I'm not going to waste any of your guys' time. You know, do all the stuff that YouTube likes, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Get the conversation going down below. We're going to check out everything that we have learned just now about the ROG Ally X, the 2024 edition of the Ally. So, ROG just had a Computex event where they did a live stream where they went over everything with the ROG Ally X to let people know what is different about this device in comparison to the current ROG Ally or the 2023 Ally. So the ROG Ally X 2024 RC72LA says play all your games, level up. And for anyone thinking this is just a mid-generation refresh that's just like bare bones and nothing significant, oh man, you're gonna learn a lot. So let's go ahead and go through this real quick. So as you guys know, Windows 11 is a platform, Game Pass you can use on it, AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme. So I'm gonna keep going because it's a lot to really to dive into here. All right, so as you guys can see, this is a splash screen for it. I'm gonna keep going because I want to talk a little bit more about the performance. So I'm just gonna, I can't even wait. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. All right, so standard ROG Ally has 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM, right? The ROG Ally X has 24 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM, 1 terabyte drive, and an 80-watt-hour battery life. I just want to go ahead and just get right to it because I know a lot of y'all are like, man, do we need to go through everything? So that's the TLDR. Let's go ahead and go through looking at everything here. So as you can see, architecture and everything like that. Let's keep going down. Full M.2 2280 support, so we don't have to get those custom adapters anymore that you can buy off of eBay or Amazon or from any of the other sites. Full M.2 2280. So if you want, you know, well beyond 1 terabyte of storage, you're going to be able to easily pop it off and put it in there. I will shortly. I'll go ahead and pull up the YouTube video, that way you guys can see him opening the back. But yeah, crazy. LPDDR5 750 memory. So the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme's onboard GPU shares this pool of ultra-fast 7,500 I can't even talk because it's so late. Megahertz LDDR LDDR5X RAM with the rest of the system, so we increase the total capacity from 16 gigabytes to 24 gigabytes on the Ally X, letting you crank all the texture settings without worrying about sacrificing any RAM. Now that's actually really good. I know I personally I was like, oh man, they're gonna get put 32 gigs, but 24 isn't bad. 32 probably would have been overkill for what this device is and probably would have been more of a power draw and consumption, but 24 gigs, okay, all right, can't knock it. Everything else is the same though. It just seems like maybe slightly, I'm looking at my Ally, I think the D-pad might be slightly improved. I know they said everything is going to be swappable, so sticks and all that, you can change it out. They said third party wants to make six, but I believe, aren't they also throwing in the Hall effect sticks? So you got the 80 watt hour battery life, game on the go. ROG Ally X is built to play all your favorite games while far away from a power outlet. With that in mind, we upgrade the battery to a massive 80 watt capacity, extending it to a longer battery life. Game on. Because okay, currently with the what is it, the 40 watt hour battery that the ROG Ally currently has, most games you're gonna get like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. Lower end games you can probably get hour and a half, but battery life on the other one isn't great. And honestly, not for many of these Windows PCs is it great. Now, with it being 80 watt hours, one of the big reasons I think that they double or they increase the battery size to what it is I think the reason they did that is for the simple fact that Windows is such a resource hog and it's going to kill the battery. So this is, we look at the Steam Deck and how it has really great battery life and it's able to maintain and withstand, especially well, not so much the original version, but the original one kind of if you do certain TDP settings. But the OLED, that one allows you to get way more performance out, way more longer gaming time just because they optimize everything within it. But 80 watts, because Windows is a resource hog, it's going to need that. So do definitely keep that in mind. Let's go down further. Cooling. All right, zero gravity, zero distraction, zero peak. All right, so as you guys know, this is already a function on the original. Oh, they did redo that D-pad. That D-pad is different. That D-pad is sexy. Got to test in some fighting games. I heard like a snicker over there. Got to test in some fighting games. This is late and I had my gummy. It hadn't kicked in, at least I don't think it has. But definitely got to test in King of Fighters with some record chain punches with Kyo Kusanagi. That's how I know if a D-pad is good or not. But zero gravity, ROG intelligent cooling does currently within the ROG Ally as it is. The X is going to have that as well. But the difference is they actually made the fans smaller. The fans are smaller, about, I believe, 20% smaller, 30% smaller, with thinner blades, which are going to increase the airflow. And then if you look at this, you can also tell a couple things. You got two USB-C ports. So they got rid of the XG mobile docking input. And one of the reasons that they said they got rid of it was because people weren't even actually using it, from what they understood. Or not so much that people weren't using it, the majority of people were not using it. So you got to keep that in mind. They're probably doing a consensus of how many users are using what thing. And this is how markets work. They do their market analysts research and then they find out certain things. And hey, if the majority of people are not using this, why should they dump that into another one? Which probably is another way they were able to expand the battery life. You also got the micro SD card slot is on the opposite side over here. It's right here on the right as opposed to the left. Still next to a vent, but still nonetheless. So you got two USB-C ports. We're going to dive into that further down. So already some design differences from the standard one. Outside the bigger battery life, you got the sexy new D-pad, and then you got the two USB-C ports and the move micro SD card slot. So keep that in mind. All right. Anti-gravity heat pipes. All right, so they're breaking that down. Nothing really new or anything like that. It's going over to panel. So all this is the same. Anyone who thinks that this is going to be changed, no, I think we're going to get a different display panel when we get the ROG Ally 2, which more than likely will be a 2025 release. But right now, no, we're not. Everything right here is going to be the same. Still 120 hertz, 1080p panel, 7 inches, 7 millisecond response time, sRGB, 100% AMD FreeSync Premium, and nits 500 nits brightness. For people who are like, what the fuck did he just say now? It's the same thing as your ROG Ally. So 1080p screen, high refresh rate with variable refresh rate, so it can already adapt itself based on the needs of the game, so you don't get the tearing and all the stuff that we experienced with the 360 PS3 era. And 7 millisecond response time just means that it's going to be fluid. You're not going to really see a delay between your input and what you're seeing. And wide color gamut, just the beauty of all the colors, and nits, which means it's going to be bright. So it's not going to be as bright as this right here, the Lenovo Legion Go. That's just the one of the brightest ones out there, not including the Steam Deck. But nonetheless, it's still a great device. You guys already know, I've already said that the ROG Ally is one of my absolute favorite devices out there. And so this right here, yeah, I'm already hyped for it. Um, it does okay, so they did change slightly the display, I'm assuming. Um, so that is something to be said. So when you are using the ROG Ally, the 2023 edition, out in public or anywhere where there's a lot of sun, there's really bad like glare, and the screen just doesn't work as well. So it looks like they improved that. The Corning DXC coating. All right, cool. That's even better. Hopefully, and it's harder, so it's 40% harder. So the display visuals of like resolution, brightness, VRR, all the other stuff, it's still the same, but the Gorilla Glass Victus DXC coating is added to it. So less reflection, in layman's terms, less reflection, and it's less likely to scratch as easily as the standard Ally, which doesn't scratch that easily, but still yet, uh, they improved the screen. Same grips. All right. Actually, wait. No. Okay. Yeah, same thing. All right. I had to look to my left and be like, does it have grips? It does have grips, but that looks like that's a little bit more grippier than the grips there on the standard. So more grips, I'm all for it. Effortless control. Ooh, same thing seems the same. Mm-mm-mm. So it's now okay. The analog sticks are rated for 5 million rotation cycles versus the 2.5 of the previous Ally. So based on that, it does not seem like this has Hall effect sensor chance. So that they could have thrown that in there. If you're gonna improve the screen, improve the battery life, just throw the Hall effect sticks in there. But I understand why they didn't do it, because they probably got a partnership with iFixit or something like that. Which is why that probably explains why they said if a third party, and this is what they said in the stream, if a third party decides to make something, then you can just get it from there. So that makes sense. I get that. Buttons seem the same. I know a lot of people kept saying with the first ROG Ally that they had issues with it sticking. I never really ran into that, but a lot of people said that they ran into that. So everything else is the same. Speakers are already one of the best things on the ROG Ally, and it looks like it's going to have the same thing. Wi-Fi 6E. So I'm shocked they didn't put a Wi-Fi 7 card in here, but 6E is still good. A lot of people don't even have routers to take advantage of Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7. So don't stress if this means nothing to you. Don't worry about it. But for those of us who are in the know on the technical aspects of this, which just means literally like why they put these two right here in bolding, video streaming and cloud gaming. It's because Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7 is going to be the fastest wireless home connection that you can have. And that means you're going to have next to no latency or very, very, very low latency when you do decide to stream or do cloud gaming. Yeah, so everything is the same on the front. Yeah, they did improve the D-pad. This is a different D-pad than the one that's currently in the ROG Ally. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out. Oh, and do keep in mind, I did reach out to, for anyone who may be wondering if I did this or not, but I did reach out to Asus prior to this drop to see if I can get a review unit. Even if I don't get a review unit, I'm going to buy this just because I love the ROG Ally. And my current one just might, I might just have to retire that, or it just might be in another room. I don't know. Might even just keep it and then get an XG mobile added to it, and then boom, my dual PC setup. All right. So everything on the front's the same. The back, macros look a little bit smaller. Ventilation roughly about the same. If not, actually, no. Different, slightly different ventilation. All right. So here we go. This is the bread and butter we wanted to look at. Okay. So same power button, fingerprint sensor, cool. 3.5 millimeter audio jack, but in comparison to the original where the micro SD card slot was on the left, it is now on the right. So this is basically, I'm just going to put it this way. Asus is not going to straight up admit that there was an issue with the micro SD card reader of the 2023 ROG Ally, because why would they? Plausible deniability, right? That's just how you have to understand how these corporations are. They're not going to admit to that because that's going to admit, oh, we shipped a flawed product. They're not going to do that. So instead, we knew all the issues of the heating and everything, which is also a reason I would say as to why they got rid of the XG mobile input. Move it over here to the right. All right. So they did that, right? Can't knock them for it. Cool. They moved it. And then on the left, you got two USB-C ports. So you got a USB, the first one is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C, which has DisplayPort and 1.4 and power delivery 3.0. And then you've got the other port, which is USB 4 Gen 2 Type C, which gives you Thunderbolt 4 and is Thunderbolt compatible with Thunderbolt displays, as well as DisplayPort 1.4 and power delivery 3.0. So what I would suggest, if anyone wants to use like an external GPU or something still, connect it via the Thunderbolt 4 port, and then you can just leave the other port open for whatever you want to use it for. Now, generally, so I saw when I was watching the live stream, a lot of people were actually complaining about the removal of the XG mobile port. Again, this is just, they did their R&D and they found out, well, research and development, they did their market analysis, and then when they found out that people weren't really using the XG mobile port, they got rid of it. And so again, from a business perspective, why would you continue to include something that probably less than 40 to 30% of the owners of the ROG Ally, which this is already a niche audience to begin with, but even nicher of a niche audience for this device, why would you keep it at? You just wouldn't, right? It just is what it is. So they got rid of that and put it with an additional USB-C port. With you still being able to use an external GPU if you want to go through it with the other one. Of course, the difference between the two USB-C ports, for those who may not understand the technical of it, the USB 3.2 is slower, obviously, than USB 4. USB 4 is way faster. Thunderbolt 4 is just incredibly, like, gigs are going to move in seconds, right? It's the fastest way of delivering data back and forth if you're utilizing two PCs or you're utilizing a dock that has the capability to support Thunderbolt 4, mostly Apple, right? So if you want to just move files back and forth quickly between devices, that's going to be the fastest way. That's going to be much faster than USB 3.2, which 3.2 isn't slow in any means, but USB 4 is just substantially faster than that. Everything is faster than USB 2.0. You know, the standard USBs that don't have the blue part here. So this is USB 3.0, but most people have the older USBs, which are slower, which are USB 2.0. Hopefully I didn't spend too much time on that. But yeah, they got two USB-C ports, which I'm a favorite fan of. I mean, the ROG Ally has two. It has one on the bottom, one on the top. Can't knock them for doing that. I think it was a brilliant move. And then everything else is the same. Volume buttons in the same position, bumpers, all that. Nothing else is different. The two USB-C ports, I think, is a substantial move, and actually is a great thing that they've done. All right, so they got accessories that they're pushing for it. I'm looking at the Rikiri Pro that they have here, and I'm just shocked that they're still trying to push this damn controller. It's not a bad controller. It's just it's for how much it costs and the way it feels. It feels very cheap. Like I did like a impression slash mini review of it back when I got it a year and a half ago or however long I think it was a year and a half ago, and I just wasn't very impressed with it. I still have it. I don't really use it, so I wouldn't recommend anyone really get that. It doesn't work any better or worse for the Ally than a standard Xbox controller or an eight. Just get an eight. If you're gonna spend the money to get the Rikiri Pro, get a 8-bit Do controller, and I can link one in the description that you guys should probably pick up because that's actually a great controller. Um. Oh, so they're pushing. Oh, they have their own wearable. Okay. This is called the Asus AirVision M1 wearable. So they're copying Lenovo in a way by creating their own. All right. So if you want to play this portably with a big screen, which makes sense, connect that to a USB-C port and also have like your other USB-C port available for charging. All right, cool. They got that. The dock with USB-C ports. Then they got the just the standard um power brick. The headphones over here, I haven't tried these. I don't know how they sound. I haven't tried their earbuds either. I've heard those are great, but I don't know. Travel case, I've heard people not really be the happiest with it, which is interesting that this probably is not going to come with a case. The first Ally didn't come with a case, which is a shame. I heard something. I don't know what that was. Uh, Freaked me out. Maybe my high is kicking my ass right now. I don't know. Anyways, ROG Ally didn't come with a case. This one should, but I doubt that it will. All right. So other than that, that's just about everything. Let me pull up the YouTube video. Hopefully, I'm signed into YouTube already. Let's just go ahead. Go. All right. So people already. Let's go to history. This is the one I looked at. All right. Okay. All right. So we got that. Yeah, so double the battery life from 40 watt to 80 watt. So you should probably assume on average you're going to get like two 2 hours. If they do better, really good optimization. I know Microsoft has been working with a lot of companies to improve that on Windows. If they can really optimize this, you should be able to get 2.5 to 3 hours of battery life on the go for AAA games. And for anything non-intensive, please, it needs to be able to do 5 to 7 hours for non-intensive games. All right. Yeah, so we already talked about that. Um, for those who are curious, I'm skipping through and showing you so the weight went up by 11.5%. Battery capacity 200%, 200% storage, 150% RAM capacity. Then they're showing it in comparison to the original. It looks like yeah, it's a little bit thicker. It's a bit more of a chunky boy. but that only just makes sense, right? All right, where's the part where he flips it over? Yeah, my cat's meowing. You guys can't hear that, but it is what it is. But yeah, I was right. They compacted the macro buttons. All right, so this is the part where he opens it up. There you guys can see the internal. And for those who are curious as when this is dropping, this is actually going to be shipping out late late July. Late July. Yeah, he taking too long to open this. Here we go. There we go. So now you can see all the internals. You can see how big the battery is, the smaller fans. And honestly, if they hadn't have gotten rid of the XG mobile, they wouldn't have been able to they wouldn't have been able to cram in everything that they're doing with this one. So keep that in mind. They're showing you how the airflow and everything works. But yeah. And then here's a better breakdown between the two, so you guys can understand. Let me go back and just pause it on that for a second. So as you guys can see, this is the difference between the two. And this is where we'll wrap it up. I don't want to go too much longer. ROG Ally 512 M.2 2230 SSD, ROG Ally X 1 terabyte M.2 2280 SSD, 16 gigabytes LPDDR5 memory at 6,400 millihertz or megahertz. And then the other one is 24 gigabytes LPDDR5 memory at 7,500 megahertz. And then looking at the battery life, I ain't gonna go into all this detail, but 40 watts and then 80 watts on the new one. So and here's the thing, if you're wondering if this makes the standard ROG Ally irrelevant, no. This just means for a more power user, for someone who just wants more bang for the buck, and to establish this as the most powerful handheld gaming PC right now on the market, the ROG Ally is a flex. That's what that is. So what I think they're going to do is I think they're going to continue to have the three different models, three different options, but I think they're going to get rid of, actually, no. There's only two on the market right now. So yeah, they're going to be three models. You got the non-Z1 Extreme model, which is always frequently on sale down to like $399. I think they're going to keep that one as a base point to get you in, although I don't recommend that one. They're going to have the standard ROG Ally, which the majority of us got with the Z1 Extreme. And then they're going to have the Ally X, which is the higher end. So pricing convention is going to be $799, which they've already confirmed that's going to be the price of this one. And then for the standard ROG Ally, I think they're going to probably knock that down to $599. And then they're going to have the lower end one, probably going to set that at a sweet price of like $399, in my opinion. Me personally, if I were to do anything, if I were the Asus, I would actually only have two models, which would be the standard Z1 Extreme and the ROG Ally X, just because I feel like, having two choices is good. Having three can be good. You go beyond that, it's going to be too much. Sometimes having three options is too much, but I think doing two versus three would be better. But I think they're gonna maintain the three, or they're gonna clear out the stock of the non-Z1 Extreme model and just have these two. But I think they're gonna have all three. But yeah, that's everything you need to know about the ROG Ally X. It will be dropping in July. Pre-orders are available today. So up to $799. Unless they make this to be the full replacement one. I don't know. But anyways, that's everything you need to know. You can pre-order it now. Be available July 20 something. I think it's the 20. They're gonna ship 22nd or so. And then 80 watt hour battery life, gonna come with 3 months of Xbox Game Pass. More RAM, more storage, and just generally more powerful. This is not the ROG Ally 2, but it is, I think, a testing ground to whatever the 2 is going to be. So keep that in mind. All that being said, what do you guys think of the ROG Ally X and everything that's been revealed today? Are you interested in picking one up? If so, let me know in the comment section down below if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on Spotify or any of our podcasting outlets that we're on, then leave a comment in the on the episode list or episode itself, and let us know what you think. Or if you want to join the discussion further, we do have a Discord. You can hop into Discord and talk more about the handheld game PCs that are out in the market and what we could potentially see. All that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, have aloha, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, and ahuyo.